Set it in the water.
2, 1.
Well, what's up, guys? This is Daniel in Houston from Arms Family Homestead, and we are out at the bass pond today. It's a gorgeous, a little bit overcast, kind of a just perfect day for us. But Houston and I are going to be doing some work here at the bass pond. So we've got the Kubota Sidekick loaded down with all kinds of stuff from Pond King. These are all structures that they build, different kinds of structure and habitat for small lakes and ponds. And what we're trying to do today is get a bunch of different types of structure out to attract the fish in. Now, obviously our pond is loaded with trees. We've put brush piles and things out there, but Pond King makes all these artificial habitats that hold your bait fish in. One of them is called like a nursery cage that kind of excludes the bigger predator fish from getting inside. And anyway, so there's honey hole brush, honey hole grass, lots of different types of structure. But we also brought a little fishing pole because Houston's going to do a little bluegill fishing while we're here, I think, aren't you?
Maybe catfish.
Maybe catfish. I don't know if we'll catch any catfish. They're still pretty small. So we've been running our, you know, our cheap little rigged up deer feeder converted to a fish feeder.
And our little cheap bear.
Our little cheap bear.
He's only about 3.
Anyway, so we've been feeding the fish almost every day. I've been hand feeding them too. I'll come over. We'll throw a little bit of feed out and see if we can get some bluegill to come up and eat. If we can get Bella out of the water.
Guys, look. I got some new fishing clothes yesterday.
Oh yeah, move bear. Houston's excited. He wants to talk about this. So we went to Academy and they had a whole bunch of stuff on clearance. You're gonna get knocked in the pond. So Houston got hooked up with some like 50% off extra markdown clearance. I don't know, the pants were like $6 and the shirt was like $8 or $9 or something. Got him some Magellan fishing shirts. Look at that, that's pretty sweet, Houston. And some fishing pants. I'm out here in shorts and t-shirt and he's wearing pants and a long sleeve, but it's fishing gear. Keeps the mosquitoes off of you, huh? All right, let's see if you can catch a bluegill while I get all this stuff built. Hey, before you start fishing, why don't you chunk out a little bit of that fish food and see if we can get the bluegill to come up here and eat.
Why is it wet?
Well, you know, it might have got rained on in the back of the buggy.
Oh my gosh, Dad.
See if they'll come eat. We used to have some big old giant bluegill in here, but we haven't caught any in a while, so I don't expect you to be catching little bitty ones. I expect big bluegill out of you, okay?
Okay.
They're after all that fish feed, but they're sure not after your worm yet.
So we got my pole rigged up, cast it out, good to go.
Well, Houston's on bluegill duty. I don't know if he'll catch any bluegill or not. Most of them are pretty small right now, I think. I'm gonna start tearing into some of these boxes from Pond King, getting everything assembled so we can just load them all up on our little mini pontoon boat and go throw them in the water. Now, I've never used any products like this before. All I've ever put in our pond is just, you know, natural structure off of cedar trees and things. So it'll be interesting to see how all this stuff goes together, how it assembles. And I like it because it's like a permanent solution. This stuff will last. So I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it on here, but the concept, Pond King makes several different kinds of structure, and they sent us a whole kit that had different types of structure, and some, you know, are made at different heights for different depths of water depths in your pond. So you have some that's for, you know, 2 to 4 feet, 4 to 6 feet, all the way out to like 10 feet deep. So we've got a variety of products, and we'll get them scattered out all over the pond.
Dang.
Well, there's no assembly to the grass. It's all put together already. It's got a chain at the bottom to weight it down, and then it sits in the water, and then all of your microbiology, all the microorganisms will start forming. You can call them lots of different names. I am not a biologist. I'm not even going to pretend to be a biologist. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. But the purpose or the concept here is for all this to spread out and it gives the bait fish a place to get into, and then everything will start growing on this plastic and feed the small bait fish. We're feeding the food chain at the very bottom. We're starting very small and working our way up to grow those big bass.
Like this?
So these are fully assembled. We don't even have to do anything with these, Houston.
Like this?
Not exactly. So that's called the honey hole grass, and Pond King sent us 4 boxes of these, and in each box is 4 sets. So we've got quite a few of these.
That big box.
So next we have the honey hole brush, and you can kind of see on the box what it looks like. I think this is made for a little deeper water. I want to say it's 6 foot tall. Ideal depth of placement 7 to 10 feet deep. All right, Houston, so that is the top of it, and then we'll slide each one of these on.
I'll get it.
Like so. So we'll put all of those scattered up the top across this. Hey Houston, your bobber went under. It went under. I just happened to look over there. Hang on. I don't think there's anything on it right now, is there?
Might be.
You got something?
I think so.
Or you just got moss?
Might be moss. Yeah, that's moss.
Just got moss? Oh, there's a fish on there. What are you talking about? Reel him up. Reel him up, reel him up, reel him up. Look at there.
It's not a huge one.
Hey, it's a bluegill though, you know it?
Mm-hmm.
Here, see if you can get him off the hook.
Okay, here's the worm. And then here's the weight. And there's the bobber. Now there's the fish.
Let's see it.
It's a pretty boy.
Pretty little bluegill. All right, let's let him back in the pond.
Hey, safety first. Keep on your Crocs instead of boots. Just in case you fall in.
Well, one bluegill down. He wasn't giant, but it's still a bluegill, huh?
One down, every single one to go.
Houston, you know what that sound is? A big old bullfrog. Sounds like fried frog legs to me. So there is the honey hole brush pile. When it gets in the water, obviously these will float up a little ways. All the limbs will float up, but that sits in the pond just like that, and that is a huge structure for a lot of bait fish, for bass to get around, anything, any kind of little fish to get in there. It'll pull those bait fish in, and the bluegill and things will hide in here, and then the big bass will be able to come in and have a nice big old snack of bluegill. Okay, we've got all of our grass all done, which there's 0 assembly for the grass. Got 4 of these honey hole brush. Oh, fish started jumping right there. Got 4 of the honey hole brush piles set up and ready to go. Now, a lot of you are going to wonder what keeps them from just falling over in the pond like this. Well, on the very bottom, they are pre-weighted, so there's a metal insert in the bottom. So the top is hollow, and Pond King sends this little float that inserts down in the bottom, and a plastic clip that just goes in to hold, well, it's kind of hard to do one-handed, holding the camera. So the plastic clip goes in to hold the float. You've got a weight at the bottom. Now obviously we don't have any current in the pond, so without any current at all, it'll just sit like that, and look how much structure that'll create in a pond. And we've got, like I said, 4 of those. So we forgot Houston's life jacket, so we got to run back to the house. The bluegill aren't biting very well, so I'm losing my little guy quickly. He's losing interest. But soon we'll have a lot of structure out here in the pond that we will know where the bluegill will be. We can find them a little easier. So let's go get your life jacket and get these things in the water. And just like that, we're back and the sun is blaring on us. So much for that cloud cover we had. It was nice and cool earlier this morning. So Houston and I got the little DIY mini pontoon boat out. Guys, if you didn't see the video on building this thing, you need to go check it out. I'm not kidding, this little boat is awesome. I love it. It is stinking cool to have a little mini pontoon boat on our pond. So we took the front seat off. I'm gonna start loading all the brush and grass and things on there and then go set them out in the pond.
I can always sit down on the ground.
Hey, I don't know if I'll fit, so you go ahead and go throw them out, okay?
Really?
No. All right, buddy. You're gonna have to let me have the seat. Oh, Gemma's going for a ride, huh? Gemma, you gonna stay on? So up by the dam, our pond is pretty deep. It's I'm not exactly sure, we'd have to check it, but I want to say 12 to 15 feet deep. And then obviously over by the edges in the where the standing dead trees are, it's pretty shallow. We're probably 2 to 4, maybe 5 feet deep over there. And it's kind of deep. It's kind of, so this whole pond was built in between two hills. So basically right underneath us was a valley, and it kind of runs, a ditch kind of runs towards the back of the pond. So I think I brought a kayak paddle to kind of test our depth to see how deep it is, because these honey hole brush piles are suggested for like 7 to 10 feet deep. I don't really want to put them over by the dam. I kind of like this deep stretch through the middle of the pond. So we're going to use our kayak paddle to kind of test the depth and find some deep water to put these brush piles in.
So if you're wondering, yeah, everything that I'm wearing is kind of new.
Got Houston a brand new life jacket because he had outgrown his other one, and we wanted to make sure he was safe out here. We need to zip that up, buddy. Okay. All right, Houston. You think you can use that kayak paddle to push it down to see how deep the water is?
Yeah.
You may have to squat down on your knees. Did you hit bottom right there?
Yep.
Yeah, we're not deep enough right there. Let's go back over here a little ways. All right, let's try it right here. How deep are we? Oh, it's deeper than the paddle right there, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's a perfect spot. It's not going to be over about 10 feet deep right here, so lay that up here. A video on all this on this little bitty boat is going to be kind of complicated, but we're going to start staggering our brush piles out through here, and we're probably in about 8 or 9 feet of water right here. So it'd be perfect depth for these brush piles, and I think we'll kind of scatter them out through the deep center ditch part of this pond, like I said. So here we go, bombs away with the first one. Slowly sinking.
One down, 9 more to go.
It's still going down.
Dang. It's still
So we'll have to remember where we put them so we can come back and fish them. So right off of that tree. Bam.
Alright, so here's the second one.
Don't let go of it yet. We need to straighten out our deals a little bit. It's a little, we need to turn them all different directions and stuff. All right, set it in the water.
3, 2, 1.
See how it's starting to sink straight where it stands up vertically? Yeah. Having that weight in the bottom allows it to sink like that. Fixing to drift over it. But it's going down.
Let's go, baby. The third one. One more to go. raising his hand.
That's what all those little things do underwater. They all spread out like that, Houston. It's slowly sinking.
Just can't see. There's only one arm left.
And it's gone.
Forever.
All right, buddy. 3 down, 1 to go. All right, buddy. Whenever you're ready, just set it over the side easy. I think we're in a deep enough spot.
That was the best I've done to put them in. Oh, I think I'm putting them upside down.
No, you didn't. That's the way it goes. What is that, Gemma? You want to get in and check it out? Down she goes.
There's only 2 arms left. Oh, you get it? Because there is 2 arms left. You get it?
Just 2 arms on the boat?
Yeah, you get it?
Yep. All right, Houston, it looks like they all disappeared out of sight except one of them, and we might go drag it to a little bit deeper water just so that it's completely submerged like they're supposed to be, okay?
Yeah.
Then we'll go back and get the grass.
Yeah. Oh, frog. Big frog.
Come here, Gemma. He's gonna throw those on here.
Hot.
I think Bella wants to ride this time. Just toss them on. Ah, you missed. Yeah, I missed. Think we can let Bella ride this time? Come on, Bella. Come on. Up on. There you go. And we're off again.
Which way do they go?
Chain goes on the bottom. Pretty simple.
Now we're just gonna toss them in. 3, 2, 1.
Out of sight. Can't see that one. Let's go up a little shallower. Start throwing them out, buddy.
I'm just gonna chunk them out everywhere.
Well, we want them kind of close together, so start tossing them out.
Phew. We're going like crazy. Now here's the hard ones. These are the wet ones. Got a few down, few to go.
Throw them in the exact same spot. We got to scatter them out just a little, okay?
Just throw them out.
Throw some on the other side. Closer. Closer to the moss over there.
3, 2, 1. There's one.
See the tips of them right there, Houston?
Yep.
You can just barely see them under the water. Okay, next one.
Kind of close.
Yep, throw this one out like right here.
And we're done.
Hey, the tips of that one are sticking out of the water right now. So we got all of those grass scattered in all amongst these trees right here. So probably a 40-50 feet area. We just got them scattered everywhere. We may need to move that one just a little bit deeper, but we'll leave it there for now. And there's several right there in that little pocket. So the tree, there's lots of trees out in here, but we also just added a lot of permanent cover. Okay, so that's all the brush piles and all the grass. We've got one more thing to put together over there, and we haven't shown you guys yet, huh?
What is it?
In that last box. You don't remember?
Oh yeah.
You're in charge, Captain. Don't crash us. And I told you guys we had one more thing before we were finished, and this one's pretty cool. This is a little product that's made to keep your bait fish protected. So the goal is to have a natural habitat that's self-sustaining. We want our bass to feed on bluegill and other sunfish and things, and part of that is having those babies, those fry, spawn out and then be able to survive. So that's where the honey hole nursery comes into play. Let me get everything out of this box. So this is a 2-pack of the honey hole nursery. These are the tops that just kind of nest together. We're going to separate it out. So as you can see, this is a pretty simple concept. It's basically just a wire cage, a round mesh wire cage with about 1 inch, well, on the sides, about 1 inch square holes. On the bottom they're a little bit bigger. But the concept here is when those fish spawn out, you have thousands of little fry, and if they all get eaten before they get very big, you don't have any big bait fish for your bass or whatever you're feeding. So this has got some of the grass that spread out inside the cage, and then a wire top that goes straight over the top, and they send a bunch of zip ties to zip tie it all together. So then you've got a complete enclosure that only fish that are, you know, 1 to 2 inches long, maybe a little bit bigger, can get inside of, and it protects them from the bass. So we're going to put these in about 2 to 4 feet of water in places where I know where bluegill spawn, and then those bait fish, those baby bluegill, will have a place to go to stay safe. There you go. First one's ready to go. Look out, Gemma. How about throwing the water?
Where am I
Now,
putting?
obviously, these little nurseries are different than the brush and the grass, because obviously a hook would get tangled in these. You don't really want to fish around these because you'll end up hooking them and then yanking them out of the water, and they won't be where they're supposed to be or where you put them. So Pond King includes a piece of rope and a little foam float so that you can see these once you put them in the water. You know where it's at, and you're not really fishing around them. So my goal is to place the first one right over here close to this tree, and there is a lot of algae growing in the pond right now, but this is a really shallow flat over here on this edge, and there's usually quite a few bluegill in there. And this tree, I think it's about 4 feet deep right here next to this tree, so we'll know, hey, not to fish right next to this tree when we're fishing, right, Houston? There you go. Ooh, our float went under just barely. You see the float right under the water, Houston?
Mm-hmm.
So we know not to fish right next to that tree, okay?
How old do you think this tree is?
I don't know, but it's been out here dead in the water for about 30 years.
And you're older than 30.
All right, Houston, last one of the day. Chunk it. Don't put it over there in the moss. Let's look kind of just right straight here by this tree.
Just right.
Perfect. All right, buddy. We put out what, 4 big honey hole brush piles, a whole pile of honey hole grass, and 2 of these little nursery cages with the float, so you know not to throw your hook near it, right? So those will keep our bait fish safe in there, and then it won't be long, maybe a few more days, we'll be out there fishing around those brush piles and catching some bass. What do you think? Well, we weren't able to get any big bluegill to cooperate, and that's just the way it goes. I know we've got some giant bluegill in here that are the size of your hand because we've caught them before. But either way, Houston and I got a lot of good habitat added to the pond, all that grass, all the brush piles, and the nursery cages, and it's going to make for a lot of good fishing in our bass pond in the future. And this is just something that's kind of an ongoing project for us. I really enjoy working on this pond, working on the habitat, trying to grow those big trophy bass. And it's not the biggest lake. I mean, this pond is probably at most 2 acres, probably a little bit less, honestly. But if you're interested in maintaining your pond and building the habitat and all that stuff, go check out Pond King. You can go to their website. I'll leave it in the description down below. And all of the nursery habitats and the grass habitat and the brush piles, I'll leave a link to that. They sent us a kit. They sell it all as a kit, or you can buy individual pieces, however you want to do it, based on the size of your pond or your budget or whatever you want to do. There's a ton of other habitat management products on Pond King's website that we didn't use today. Spawning disc and just all kinds of cool stuff. And obviously, of course, the miniature pontoon boats, the little small pontoons, that was a DIY kit that they can ship to you in the mail. And that's what we did. They shipped it to us and we put it together in front of our garage, and now we've got an awesome little pontoon boat for our pond. But anyways, like I said, I will leave links in the description box to all of the habitat stuff that we used today, and I look forward to catching some big bass off of those brush piles in the very near future.
So guys, if you haven't already, go down there, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and like this video. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.